What type of relationship works out best? An external relationship or an internal relationship? Now, this is what I mean. An external relationship is when you see somebody, you look them up and down, you see what you like about them, and you make a move. An internal relationship is somehow there's something you're drawn to that person. There's something inside, something you can't really explain, and then that's when the magic happens. There's value in both, and being a Gen X Sigma male, being a Sigma male, I kind of lean towards one side or the other. I'll talk about that in a minute. But which one works out best? Now notice, I did not say which one lasts longest. That's relative. But which one generally works out the best? Now the thing is, whether it's an external relationship, you like that person's body, you like how they look, you like how they dress, how they keep themselves up, or it's an internal relationship, I can't tell you what it is, but it's something about what they do. It's something about how they act. When someone's really digging you, when someone's really into you, it starts to change your life. You know what I'm saying? You got to start scheduling things now. You have to factor them into your life. So now you're scheduling trips, you're trying to do things together, you know what I'm saying? Go travel, maybe cruises, you're introducing them to new people. If they're in your relationship, if you have a relationship with them long enough, you might even start doing real stuff like helping them go back to school or helping them get their credit tight, you know what I'm saying? Or go to trade school, like up their skills and stuff like that, like real stuff. But it could be from an external source or it could be from an internal source. But which one lasts, I'm sorry, not which one lasts longer. Which one is better? Which one has like a better impact? Now I'm going to start off with the external because that's what most people know and recognize. You see somebody, you're at a party, at school, some type of event, because you usually won't see that person sitting around in your house. So I'm assuming you kind of go out somewhere, or maybe social media. But you see someone, you see the external. They got the body you like, they got the hair you like, or maybe no hair, whatever, but you like it. For some people, that's all they need. That's all they want. That's all they're looking for. You got it. They see it. They appreciate it. They want it. They want to appreciate your body. Male, female, that comes with different math. But, it is what it is. A lot of people appreciate that someone appreciates them. So now you go make your move, or they make their move on you. Now, sometimes they're hollering at you because of your looks. You absolutely know. Maybe you were wearing a nice tight tank top or something. Maybe that ass is curving just like a capital P right there. It's just looking nice. Whatever. But sometimes you're not so sure. They know. The person that's doing the hollering, they most definitely know. I seen her across the room. She's got that look that I like. Made my move. But sometimes the recipient doesn't know. So go a little bit further. The person makes their move. They holler, hey, how you doing? Now, some dudes, some women, aggressive. They make their move aggressively. They let you know right off the top what they like about you, and that they want you to come back with them. And then some people, they break the ice. You know what I'm saying? They introduce themselves and then see how things go. But when the relationship is sparked off by the external, just by looks, the pro of that, the good side of that is that they like you. And especially for women, dudes are very visual. Very visual. We can't really help it. It's written into most of our DNA. So if he likes your looks, even if he only likes one aspect of your looks, like your face is a C, that capital P, mwah, mwah. Or the reverse, you ain't got much down there, but you're really pretty. Eyes, the smile, like woo. The con of that, the downside of that is what happens if your looks change? What happens if you're not on the standard that he wants you to be? Do you start doing cosmetics? You get surgery? more and more makeup, you know what I'm saying? You overly buying the outfits that you think he likes. Well, what if his tastes evolve? Yeah, because sometimes tastes evolve, even for men. Old Neanderthal caveman men, sometimes our tastes evolve. What if now you can't really bring what he's looking for anymore? And that used to be part of what was valuable in your relationship, that external. And now he does not have the same value for your looks that he used to have. Maybe because you're getting older, maybe his tastes have changed, and maybe a third thing, somebody else came into the loop. Somebody else looks better, looks more higher up the ladder than you look, according to him. Is he wrong for that? Is he? I'm sure I'm saying this from a male perspective, but it goes both ways. I'm sure the wife of LL Cool J has other men that she's attracted to who she thinks looks better than LL Cool J. This is a Gen X reference, people. So, I assume this is mostly a Gen X audience. So what I'm saying is the external, even when you like it, it's relative, because you look like how I want my boo to look, but she looks even more so like how I want my boo to look. But you're my boo. That relationship is hostage to those external looks. If the external looks drop for that dude or for that female, if their spouse, their other person, their partner, the looks drop, that's real. That's real talk. You can say, oh, well, what about all the years what about what they've done to you? But real talk, this part of the test that's on comprehension, this part of the test that's on geography, this is the score. So this part of the test is based upon looks, is based upon the external, your score is slipping. But the relationship is based upon this. It was good when the scores were high, but when the scores start dropping, or like I say, when someone else is scoring higher, now what? But that's what the relationship was based on. So the pro is that it is really nice to be appreciated for your looks. For the people that have them, for as long as they have them. It's really nice to be appreciated for your looks. Some people age gracefully. Some people look better as they get older. I made a video about this. Go check out some of my other stuff, some of the other videos on the channel playlist. Do some men, some women in particular, start to look better as they get older? Yes, some do. So that even works out, where it's like, oh, I settled for you in my 20s and 30s. Now in my 40s, 50s, and 60s, I can do better. So that could come to bite you in your ass if your relationship is based upon the external. The dopamine you get from someone externally appreciating your looks, or you getting that person that you appreciate their looks. It's a double-edged sword, because for the person who's being appreciated, like I said, what happens when they no longer appreciate me, or when they appreciate someone better? And for the person who's doing the appreciating, I got me a bad one. It can be a double-edged sword, because he or she is bad to other people. And other people, their game may be tighter than yours, may be better than yours. They can offer more. And so what about the strength of your relationship? But the strength of your relationship wasn't based on internal. I'm getting to that in a moment. The strength of your relationship wasn't based on internal. You see a lot of people, a lot of times you can see the angle of it. It might be a really good-looking younger woman with an avo-looking older dude, and you assume, oh, it's money. Or it might be a really good-looking dude with an avo-looking woman, and you think, oh, she must give it up easy. But if it's all based upon external, what happens when the external changes? There's nothing internal to anchor it. There's nothing internal to switch over like a hybrid, like I'm running out of electricity, let me switch over to gas power. No, there's no backup like that. So the relationships that are based on external, they could last for a long time. They could. But it's based upon appearance. You could have an external relationship where someone, say, you've been together for a long time. This is why it's not based upon length. You've been together for a long time. You've built a life together. Maybe you got married or something. Maybe you had kids. You worked and built income, and you've got accounts intertwined. And like I said, you've helped him or her go back to school. You've helped them get their credit tight. set up things for retirement. Like, you really have been along the path for a long time with each other. But even though it's based upon external, it could all fall apart. So it's not based upon length. That's a long relationship. Y'all got 20, 30 years together, but that's because, yeah, she kept her looks up. And he kept up his money to balance that. Or he kept his looks up, and she did whatever she could to hold on to him, and that was the seesaw balance of it. But it's external. Pro and a con. The internal side is sometimes you have just like this magnetic appeal to someone. Now, being someone who identifies as a Sigma male, whatever that is, whatever that means, but someone who has Sigma male type characteristics, I crave, seek, and thrive on authenticity. The external may not be authentic. The external may not be authentic. Sometimes it looks really nice. Hey, I understand why you did it. I understand, but it's not authentic. It's a lie if you want to be raw about it. Or just like, they said what they said for a reason. They got what surgery they got for whatever reason. They wear whatever they wear. I'm talking men and women. Like, people enhance their external because they feel that's the winning hand for them. They feel like that's the cards they need to play. Most people don't hold their best cards back and then go with the weaker hand. Like, most people are not like, I'm working here at this BS 9-to-5 job, but really I could be in the C-suite somewhere. No, most people don't hold back their best and then lead with their weak. You know what I'm saying? But one group of people do. And those are people who are more internal minded. So they don't enhance their external as much. They still want to look nice and, smell nice and yada, yada, yada. Appearances do matter. But their real strength is when you get to know them. Their real strength is something on the inside. Their real strength is something that the average person in most of the world will never get the chance to see that beauty. So, or that horror. Or that horror. But my point being is internal relationships, I don't really know why I'm attracted to you. I don't really know why every time you come in the room, I can't stop looking at you. I've had different experiences in my life. I still have some going on to this day where certain people walk in a room and I can't take my eyes off of them, but I've never hollered at them. They've never approached me. I've never approached them. We might be friendly, we might not but there's different people that I've grown to have a relationship with. Every time we see each other, we give each other these nice hugs, maybe a kiss on the cheek, and there's an attraction there. But no one has ever moved upon it. Usually when it's external, the whole purpose is to move on it. I got to get that body. I want that. I need that. Give me some of that. So a lot of times when it's external, you have to make that move. Someone's got to make the move. The internal, a lot of times, someone does not have to make the move. That's why I say it's almost like magnets. You're drawn to each other. I'm not even really trying to pay attention to you, but I swear if you touch me, you know what I'm saying? If your hand touches my back one more time, you know what I'm saying? Or if you look a little too long the next time we're talking or something, where you look back and I look back, whatever it is, those relationships, they have their pros and cons. Everything in life has its pro and con. Everything is a general balance. And even when it's out of balance, it's a part of the bigger balance. So, internal relationships, you have short and long. Once again, duration doesn't matter. Duration is not what I'm talking about. What type of relationship works best? And obviously that depends on the type of person. Me being a Sigma male, type of relationships that have always worked best for me were internal relationships. The external relationships was ultimately like a Tom and Jerry type experience. You're chasing, maybe you get them for a minute and then they scuttle away, and then maybe you chase and then maybe they come back and wave the cheese in front of your face, and then you and it's just this big chase. Maybe you get them for a little bit, maybe you don't. The authentic ones, nah, man, you build something. But like I said, I'm a little partial. But here's the pros and the cons of the internal. The internal is, the pros of the internal is that on a certain level, it's much stronger. On a certain level, it's much stronger than external. The external can be strong. That's called lust. I know a little something about lust. It is strong. You keep coming back. Woo, anytime that person calls me, yes, I'll come over. Damn. Internal is a different type of strong as external and internal. It should be. Internal is a different type of strong. Internal, ain't nobody got to say nothing. Internal, that person doesn't have to tell me what they're wearing. That person doesn't have to like entice me into coming over. I'm already there. I'm already on my way. You know what I'm saying? It's just different. The actions may end up being the same, but the motivation is different. The external, you show me a picture, you show me a video of what you're wearing, or I think about how you look in a certain position or wearing certain, like I say, clothing or whatever, adult clothes, whatever. The internal, I think about how you make me feel. I think about how you laughed so hard at that little joke that I said, but I could tell it was an authentic laugh. And sometimes it's those punches that you don't see that knock you out. And okay, I'll give you a personal example. I had one situation with someone, a friend from a long time ago, who I was attracted to, like, but not, it wasn't so super like eyes pop out of your head. It was just like, oh yeah, she is cute. Yeah. So I did approach her. It was a Prince Michael Jackson party. That's another story. Anyway, so like we danced and stuff to Prince and Michael Jackson songs, exchanged numbers, yada yada yada. So later on, we got a chance to hang out a little bit at her house, and she was a couple of years younger than me. So sometimes you're not quite sure as a Gen Xer. Sometimes you're not quite sure generationally if you're on the same wavelength. Like if you and I know the same references, know the same jokes and stuff. So anyway, long story short, I was talking, I guess maybe we were talking about different movies that we like. And this is a personal story. So like I said, I brought up Dazed and Confused. I really like that movie. And if you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's a classic. A lot of stars, a lot of people that you've seen in other stuff, they were in this movie. And there's this particular scene, not to spoil it for anybody, there's this particular scene where three of the main characters enter this building. And the way the camera angle is set up, I also have, I'm familiar with television and film study, so I really like camera angles and cinematography and film direction and such. So anyway, these three significant characters in the movie enter this building, and it's to a Bob Dylan song, I think. That's what's playing at the time. And the way the three characters enter and the way they got the camera angle, it just hits me. Internally, it just hits me. I may have told this to one person, other than me just telling you all now. I may have told this to one person in my entire life. Like this particular 8 second stretch right here, when they come in the building and they kind of hit this little corner and they're walking in towards the pool tables and this and that. Dog, that is a sweet ass shot. That the director, the cinema, like that was nice because that's not just written into the script. Anyway, I mentioned this to her. No, I'm sorry. Back up a little bit. We were talking about the movie, and she mentioned the moment to me. I've only had maybe one or two of these type of instances happen in my life where I straight up looked around and was like, "Am I getting punked?" Another Gen X reference. Ashton Kutcher, MTV. I'll make a video about why I hate early MTV. But I seriously thought I was being punked. I literally kind of looked around for a second like, you mean that part when they enter and they hit the corner and they're walking towards the pool thing? You like that? Like, she was like, I love that shot. It was over. It was over. So we got to know each other a little bit better based off of that. It wasn't because, a big titty popped out of her bra. It wasn't because I seen her panty line or I seen pussy hair or a lack of pussy. It was none of that type of stuff. It was because that scene, that 8-second scene in a movie, there are a million movies, a trillion 8-second scenes. That 8-second scene in the movie that we both just happened to have seen the movie, but she was like, yeah, that shot, I love that shot. And I could tell it was an authentic response. She was saying it to me. She had no idea how I felt about it. And when she said that, I was like, oh yeah, me and you are about to become friends. Now, as authentic and energetic as that relationship, it was like a summer thing. It lasted like 2.5 months. And dissolved because of various reasons. No beef, nothing bad. Just like, So that's why it's not about length. What type of relationship works better, internal or external? It's not about the length of the relationship. You can have people who are in a long-term relationship who don't like each other. They got love for each other. They stick around, the sunken cost fallacy, but they don't like each other anymore. And you got some people, that passion, that flame, they can't keep it together. Which is better? Which is worse? So the length is relative, but really, the downside, I didn't mention the downside. The con of an internal relationship, many times, and like I'm a little biased because I lean towards internal because it's usually more authentic. But the downside of internal is that the internal does matter, but the external does too. So, say for a man in a midlife crisis, he could be like, this is my wife. This is, we done been through the fire. Shaka Khan, Gen X people. We done been through the fire. We done been through the wall. You know what I'm saying? And I know she's got my back and I got her back. But she is gorgeous. She looks like Wonder Woman. And I'm talking Linda Carter Wonder Woman. Like, she looked, no disrespect to Gail. But, to Gal. Whatever, however you pronounce her name. Gigi. She looks Linda Carter Wonder Woman. Like, if you don't know what that looks like, please go look. So, how can I ignore that? Like, my heart is here. My eyes, ooh. And so and reverse it. I don't know what a woman's midlife crisis is like, but say something similar like that, where it's like, no, this is my man. I know he's there for me. Like, we've built a foundation for me. He would kill for me and he would die for me. No hesitation. But this dude looks like Blair Underwood. This dude looks like Morris Chestnut. This dude looks like a young Mel Gibson or something. This dude looks like, you know what I'm saying? Whatever your attraction level is. This dude looks like Mario Lopez over here. So the internal is strong, but please don't underestimate the dark side of the force. Don't ever underestimate the dark side of the force. Your man loves you. Your woman loves you. She'd rip out her heart for you. But if Han Solo, if young Harrison Ford, you know what I'm saying, if young Jason Momoa or current Jason Momoa, like whatever your tastes are, if he's on deck, you might have to give her a pass. So with the internal, sometimes the con is, the downside is you think that is the end all be all. You think that is so significant, and you've built everything on it, that when the external, which has its truth too, when that comes into play, you're devastated because you thought it was all about just that internal. And also, just like the external, how things can evolve, internally, things can evolve. Maybe when you were younger, you were more introverted. And now that you got older, something happened in your life, you hit a certain age and stage, and now you're out there. And your partner wants you to come back some, pull back some. Like, let's go back to like the being reserved like we were. And you're like, nah, I did that. I want to do this now because of yada, yada, yada. So the internal, like it's like the plates underneath the ground. It's like it shifts, like the tectonic plate shifts, like, you know. And what can you do? Like, supposedly in Africa, the eastern part of Africa is starting to split away from the continent, and it's underneath the ground. Like, it's like, what can you do on top? What can you do? Period. But on top of the ground, what can you do when the ground is starting to shift and create a gap that eventually will be filled by water, and that'll become a new sea? And now Africa is there's like Africa, the mainland, Madagascar down by the southeastern tip, but then like this new part in between. Anyway, I don't know if people know their geography out there. The point is that that's internal. That's an internal shift. And when the internal shift happens, there is nothing you can do about it. The external shift, you can keep trying. You can keep trying. You can get all the cosmetic surgery you want, shift all of this stuff back, be 10, 20 years younger, get the boobs, get the ass, get all of the whatever. But the internal, when the internal shifts, there's little to nothing you can do about it. So part of the downside of the internal is if those plates shift, what can you do? That person loved you with all of their heart for 25, 30 years. 5, 10 years. Like I say, the length doesn't matter. They loved you with all of their heart. And now, or not now, but something changed. I know someone in my family, devastating. Something internally changed in his marriage. It wasn't external. His wife divorced him, and she didn't start like chasing, they're older than me, they're boomers. She didn't start chasing like younger dudes. She didn't start chasing like, the suave, good looking men of her generation. She just, she changed. She ended the marriage. And they had seemingly a good marriage. Long relationships, you go through your ups and downs. So they went through their ups and downs. And of course, no one ever knows what really happens inside a relationship, except those people who are really inside the relationship, and then maybe the kids. But long story short, she devastated him, left him with no answers. So that's what I'm saying. When it's the external and they leave, you could do the math. You could calculate, oh, my looks must have slipped, or somebody else in the mix. When it's internal, you put so much weight, so much gravity on that aspect of it, that when those plates shift and you have no answer, no recourse, nothing you can do about it, it is devastating. Unless you are of a Sigma male type mentality where you're like, hey, like Ice-T at the end of New Jack City, you put your glasses on and you go back to work. Like, for some people, when they base it all on the internal, and internal pulls the rug out from under them, it takes them a while to get back up. And it usually takes something else internal. And so another one of the cons of the internal is the internal cannot just be conjured out of thin air. Someone externally can put on something, enhance something, add a different complexion to something, inject something, withdraw something. Like, the external, it's almost like a laboratory. Like, you can experiment. The internal is much more sensitive. It's harder to get to. It's harder to reach. And you still may not be able, it's internal. You still may not be able to change that. So another one of the cons of the internal relationships is that it doesn't, you never know when it's going to happen. You can't just conjure it up. It could be someone that looks like how you kind of want them to look, but because you value internal, you're waiting for that internal. And it just doesn't spark. It's almost like having a lighter, and you're like, and you can't quite get it to light. I see there's a little bit of juice there. I see it. Come on. And that's how the internal is. You can't spark it up. But when it sparks, you feel it. And you're like, I'm drawn to that person. And then you go holler. The external is you see the flicker, and then you're drawn to it. It could be a blowtorch, but you know what I'm saying? And you're drawn to it. Like, what is it, like moths to a flame? So anyway, so that's what I'm saying. Like, I kind of lean towards a certain side, being a Sigma male. I find that the internal relationships, like I said, I'm not going to say that they last longer. It's not so much about length. But if someone made me choose, I would say that I do think internal relationships last longer. I'm only really saying that from some of my personal experiences, and that internal, there's more of an investment in that person. External, it's more of an investment in what you see. And so when the bad times started to hit, the external, she really looks, or the spark y'all have sexually, like, that is definite. But when the bad things start hitting, I know at least for men, this is from a male perspective, you might cut your losses and be like, look, hey, at least I got mine. You know what I'm saying? I got a chance to go to that park and ride the rides many a day, many a ride. So if now there's some difficulty getting to the park, I'm good. Like I said, that could just be me. It could be a Sigma male thing. But you're like, hey, thank you. I appreciate the memories. I really, really do. But it's getting too hard to come in. You know, it's a little too difficult. I don't know if it's the same reward anymore. That's the external. The internal, when it starts getting hard, you kind of ride with that other person longer. Like I said earlier in the video, they might help you get your credit together. They might help you go back to school. You might help them, redo their home. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might help them move things. Like, and I don't know. It's like I said, I am biased, but maybe it's more balanced than I think. But I think internal relationships, people invest in it for the long run more. And external relationships, people invest in it more in the short term. It would be like if you were buying a stock. You see that stock. If you're an external investor, you see that guy, you see that lady, and you're external, you putting $100,000 down right now. I'm putting $100,000. I need to buy that stock right now. When you're an internal investor, you see that lady, you see that dude, you say, I'm going to put in 10. And the next week, I'm going to put in 10 more. And the next week, I'm going to put in 20. You see what I'm saying? And then it adds up to 100, or it may add up to 500, you know what I'm saying, to $1 million. But the point is you don't go all in at first, but you might be in for longer. Whereas those external relationships, they can be hot, they can be passionate, and it's real. And when times get tough, people may cut their losses. Especially if they think they can reel in another one, because the external is about the looks. You know, men are visual. The internal, man, you rub it up against other magnets, and ain't nothing happening. Sometimes you're even repelled from one another. Ooh, get away from me. I thought I would like you. Ugh. Taking trips and cruises and going to different places, hoping to spark some type of internal thing, and it takes time. But the external, you know it when you see it. The internal, you know it when you feel it. Which one happens more? Or which one happens quicker? You able to see something, or you able to feel something? So that's what I'm saying. But anyway, it's your boy, Gen X representing, baby. Got some Gen X merchandise that I'm starting to roll out. So if you're interested, go check out the page, see if there's anything that you like. And also, I'm starting a 24-hour Gen X video channel. So if you got any good Gen X themed videos, entertaining, inspiring, life advice, stories, whatever. But Gen X themed, under 5 minutes, I need it for my 24-hour Gen X video channel. So in the description, I'll also put the download link for that. Anyway, it's your boy. Stay safe. I holla.